Welcome back to Politics Watch. This is Sir P. Now, recently, Jamaica's Prime Minister, Andrew Holness, made this statement that Jamaica is better off now than it was 10 years ago. When I heard it, I thought to myself, you know what? This is a Sunday video. We have to go look into it. So, hopefully, you have your tea, your Milo, your coffee, whatever you drink, your thirsty bush, because such bold statements can't just pass under the wind. So, for information's sake, let me just put this disclaimer out there. It's virtually impossible for me to break down every single sector, every single ministry in Jamaica. Especially the ones that don't really have much data out there. So, I'm going to focus on some key ministries, some key sectors, especially the one that the everyday people see and feel and notice. Especially the two main ones, which are crime and the economy. Things like education, very, very important industry. But when it comes down to breaking it down, there just isn't much out there. For example, I checked the best performing schools in Jamaica. Came across a website that lists the amount of schools where students pass 5 CXC subjects or more. There were 162 schools on the list. And out of that 162, only 33 go over 50%. As in, 50% of the school pass 5 subjects. Only 33 out of the 162, which is 20%. Only 20% of Jamaican high schools are putting out 50% or more of the grade 11 students with more than 5 CXC subjects. Obviously, Jamaica's education system need work. Whole heap of work. 20%. But the thing is, I can't go back 5, 10, 15, 20, 30 years to compare, so we can't do much about that. Health, very important as well. But again, in terms of looking into data and breaking down by that, can't go back. But I can tell you is that one of the true tests, if you know what Jamaica's current health system is like, is the fact that some of Jamaica's best talent are run left Jamaica. I don't know how many people know this, but Jamaica has some of the best nurses in the world. Jamaica's nursing schools produce some of the best nurses in the world. When them go places like US and Canada and UK and them places, they're well respected. Them are cut left Jamaica in record numbers. Jamaica, again, it might not seem like it, but Jamaica does produce some very good doctors. Not enough, but we produce some very good doctors. And when you consider the fact that the conditions enough of them have to work in, enough of them are overworked, underpaid. I talk about public health now. Overworked, underpaid. When you go places like the Kingston Public Hospital, to be honest, a miracle is enough people down there work. Enough of the doctors and nurses down there, a miracle them work. Because enough people go down a public couldn't even make it. But the doctors and the nurses them somehow manage to keep them. So I know there's lots of talk about, negligence, and sure that happen, we have to talk about it, but we have to also start with the facts in terms of resources and what they man work with. Right now they man make, old time people say take your hand on, or you say make bread out of stone or something like so. And that they man fair do. Make bread out of stone. Some I could go into crime and the economy. We can start off with crime. Is Jamaica better off 10 years, better off now than it was 10 years ago when it relates to crime? I'm going to go even further than 10 years. I want you to look at your screen right now. What you're looking at is the total number of reported murders in Jamaica. And this chart goes right back to 1962. When you talk about roller coaster, when you see the chart literally look like a roller coaster. Unfortunately, most of this roller coaster is up. It's going upwards. But see, as I say, 1962, there were only 62 murders in Jamaica. 63, sorry. And the population in 1962 was greater than the whole population of Trinidad now. So like I said, it was only 100,000 people in the country and 62. No, Jamaica's population was about almost 1.7 million people back then. But as you can see, the figure has been creeping up. The first big spike that you would notice happened during the 1980 election. Everybody know what went down that year. Jamaica went from 351 in 1979 to 889 in 1980, but then it dropped back down to 490 the following year. Right, 82, 405, 83, 424. Right. So it was a spike, but it dropped back down to the 400s. But then you see a red line on the screen, right? That red line signifies the 1,000 mark. Very important. For me, that's the disaster line. Anytime we hit that figure, the 1,000, that's when you know things really bad. When was the first time Jamaica hit 1,000 murders? Because people think it's a recent thing, listen. No, it's not. First time Jamaica hit 1,000 murders was 1997. The 90s, on the No Jamaica crime out of hand. The year before that was 925. Why may I talk about this? See, oftentimes I hear me say, when it comes down to crime, the reason why I don't take a favorite leader seriously is because I've seen party after party, prime minister after prime minister, minister of national security after minister of national security, police commissioner after police commissioner fail to control the crime monster. Which led me to come to the conclusion that they're on a roller coaster ride. It's like on a roller coaster where you're not really in control. Sometimes it slow down, sometimes it speed up. Right. That's how it appears Jamaican leaders are in this fight against crime. It'll lead them not lead it. You see, I want you to look at the chart and notice after 2010 there was a drop. There was a period where crime dropped and looked like it stayed low. 1 year it basically touched the red line, almost went under it. Almost came very close. That year was 2014. Jamaica saw 1,005 murders. Now, what caused this big drop? I'll tell you. Tivoli incursion. The Tivoli incursion occurred in 2010. In 2009, there were 1,683 murders. 2008, there were 1,619 murders. So clearly, crime was out of hand. Then the incursion happened in 2010. The following year, it went from 1,447 in 2010 to 1,133. And for the next 2, 3, 4 years, it hovered around the 1,100 mark. Average. That's because, in case you've forgotten, after Tivoli incursion, that was the most serious we've ever seen the Jamaican government on crime. Remember, them did a call in every Don, right? Them that call every man who have a name in the streets, did I say, yo, turn in yourself, persons of interest, make sure you show up by much Don, runway, man and lay low. So that 3-4 year period after the incursion, the reason why the crime dropped was because who never in a jail did a lay low on a runway because them named upon person of interest. But as usual, even though the momentum was on the government side, right, both parties, because it started with Bruce Golding and then Portia Simpson Miller came into power. So even though the momentum was on the government side, as usual, them dropped the ball and crime started to spike after that 3-4 year period where crime went down. But even though crime went down, guess what? It still never got under 1,000. So even with the largest military operation in recent history, it couldn't bring Jamaica's murder rate under 1,000. Let me repeat that. Because people love telling, oh, if we just get this one man for the police commissioner, if we just get him to be the most hardcore military operation we've seen in modern history, Jamaican modern history. After all of that, how much 87 from Moby, a man drop like fly, man get locked up, it still could not go under 1,000. Keep that in your mind. So the Prime Minister said, and I'm talking about Andrew Holness now, said crime went down last year, and if you compare to 2018, it basically leveled out. What do you mean by that? 2018 was 1287, 2019 was 1339, 2020 was 1323. So from 1339 to 1333, that was the decline. So the Prime Minister, I wonder if we realize how politics work. So he's right. Crime did go down by 16 less murders. So factually, it's correct. However, that's nothing to write your granny about. That's nothing to put on a postcard and write and send go nowhere. So just saying crime went down, sure. But 2018, it went up from 1287 to 1339 and then went down by 16 2020. Nothing to write home about. Jamaica is now in a position where we're saying, well, crime level out at what, 1300 average? Well, let's all pat ourselves on the back. Well done. Congratulations. You want to put these numbers into context? And by the way, if you go back, you see that Jamaica average roughly 1300 murders a year. Right? For at least about 20 years straight, Jamaica average about 1300 murders a year. I'm going to tell you now how important that figure is. We can look at our neighbor them. Or our neighbor, Haiti. See, I have great respect for Haiti and its history. Right? A nation of real revolutionaries. But Haiti, as we know, is troubled. Political turmoil, government, when I talk about, Haitian government corruption make Jamaican government look like child's play. Right? But when we hear about Haiti, people make it sound like it's hell on earth. Guess what? Haiti, despite the fact that it's poorer than Jamaica, Haiti is more corrupt than Jamaica. Haiti's education system is worse than Jamaica. Haiti have more illegal guns than Jamaica. Haiti have so much illegal guns, them give them to Jamaica in exchange for herbs. They like, listen, they can't keep them 50 rifles, they just give you the herbs. Them have them for give it. That's how much guns that Haiti. Do you want to put that 1300 figure in the context? Listen to this. In 2019, with a population of over 11 million people, keep that figure in your head, 11 million people in 2019. Do you know how many reported murders there were in Haiti? 787. Let me say that again. Haiti, the place where from my little boy till now, I hear about Haiti like say it's hell upon earth and the crime and the murder and some wicked people and kill people every day. 787. Do you want to know how many reported murders there were in Jamaica? In the same 2019? 1,339 with a population of let's call it 3 million. But they've not given you the rate now, I'm giving you the actual murder figures. So Haiti, we're supposedly full of so much killers and wicked people. The best them could do in 2019, with all them guns that them have, much rifle just dash it, because them have so much. With them government will take corruption to a whole different level. With infrastructure, the way when I talk about it, education system, don't want to talk about it. Poverty. UN, as bad as Jamaica maybe, you don't see no UN trucker driver in Jamaica and give out no food. Jamaica at that level. Jamaican poverty a joke compared to Haitian poverty. And Haiti at 700. Haiti was under 1,000. What Jamaica can do with 3 million people. And when you think about that, I'm soak in for a second. See, that's why you have to compare. People say, well, you compare because it give you context. If you want to know how fast it is, you can just run against everybody in your community. Go up on the big stage, go show what you can do. That's why make sure you use Haiti. Under 1,000, if Jamaica was to get 787 murders in 2021, Andrew Holness would never lose another election. Dr. Horace Chang would go down as the GOAT, greatest of all time, Minister of National Security. If we could hit Haiti's number, hell, Haiti, the place where we are hell, if we could hit for them number, all the leaders them, they will milk it from now until thy kingdom come. So when it comes down to crime, is Jamaica better off? Of course it isn't. A 50 increase 1 year and then 20 increase next year and a 30 increase. Come on. In the streets, as far as Jamaican people are concerned, there is no difference between 1,250 murders and 1,300. Let me say it again. In the streets, as far as John Public is concerned, in terms of people feeling safe, there is no difference between 1,250 murders 1 year and 1,300 the next. People don't feel that. Right? People are not going, women are not going, well, last year was 1,300 and this year was 1,250, so now me can go drag a night time by myself. People are not thinking, yeah, now we can start where we go ring them on and the other place say no. It has to be a seismic shift for the people and feel it. So as far as people in Jamaica are concerned, no change. John Public no notice no change. Even though there's a 13 increase and a 10 decrease, them not feel nothing, people not feel nothing. Now we're going to move on to the economy. Now what you're looking at is Jamaica's historic GDP growth and the forecast. There's many ways, right, to look upon our country's economy is progressing, but in terms of finding the data, this one is the easiest and this one I work with. Right. See on the left, them figures where you see 0 point whatever, that's Jamaica's GDP growth. Right. So 0.576, 0.871, 1.499, 0.687. You see the big drop in 2020. Of course, you know what happened in 2020. Right. The big C arrived, minus 8%. Right. Forecast to go up to 3.6, 3.5, 3.7, whatever, 2.9, whatever. Just call it 3. Keep those numbers in your head. When we look on the numbers, go straight back. I even went back as far as 20 years. All I saw was mediocrity and underachievement. Just like how, for crime, 1,000 is the mark, in my opinion. When it comes down to GDP, 5% growth is the mark. So if a nation, if Jamaica go under Jamaica have to go under 1,000 murders a year for me take any Minister of National Security or Prime Minister to them security policy and work seriously. If you go under 1,000, we don't even want to hear none. Right. Likewise, when it comes down to GDP growth, right, over 5%, especially consistently over a 3-4 year period, Mr. This brother I know him. If you can't see that, stop wasting my time. I'm not interested. Do you know how many times Jamaica's GDP went over 5% growth? In the last, forget 10, 20 years? Guess, have a guess. Nobody wasted time. 0. Not once in 20 years. And you can go back as far as you want. There's been very few times. Right? But we could have said 20 years. Not once. Multiple governments, multiple prime ministers, multiple minister of finance, man with 50 different degrees, right? Some of the most on paper educated people you ever see. Man tell you say, if you vote for him, this is going to happen, that going to happen. Not once in 20 years did Jamaica see more than 5% GDP growth. Why is this important? Because you might have said, Sir P, put them, that's the standards too high. Standards too high? Or is it your standards too low? Just like with crime, make we compare. Look at your screen again. Let's look at Rwanda. Yes, the beautiful country of Rwanda. Why may I use Rwanda? Because one of the excuses Jamaica, because Jamaica is the land of wood, water and excuses. Boy, if you want an excuse for underachieving, just link a Jamaican. Jamaicans well, we've been through so much. Apparently, the political turmoil in the 1970s is so great that Jamaica can see 5% GDP growth and go under 1,000 murders. Interesting. Right, and people write books and sell movies to the public, selling them the story so people can say, oh yeah, true man, because what Jamaica has been through is child's play compared to what other nations has been through. Go on, research the history of Rwanda and what happened in 1994. Right. The Rwanda had the big G. Remember, they even want to say the word. Right. G-side. I don't know what I mean by G-side. Happened in 1994. Some people put the number as low as 300,000. Some put it as high as 1 million. I could just say 500,000 for argument's sake. 500,000 people lose them life. You want to know how fast it happened? From April the 7th, 1994 to July 15, 1994, 500,000 people. That's like the whole of Kingston gone in a couple months. The whole of Kingston, everybody. So if you could talk about what they've been through so much, and because that's why we can't get no growth, and because the crime rate, because the legacy of the... Look on your screen. I already showed you Rwanda's murder rate the other day. Right, go look for that video. The truth about Jamaica's, I forgot what the title is called, but we don't know me about that video. But I'm showing you the African country and the murder rate. Rwanda have one of the lowest murder rate in the world. Lower than many Western, rich, developed European countries. Yeah. But look on them economy now. For that 2014, 7.8% GDP growth. The following year, 8.873. Right. So even when Rwanda have a dip, Rwanda's dip is still better than Jamaica's best. 2017, 3.98. What Jamaica would have loved to see, Jamaica, apparently a prime minister would run a campaign on the fact say him deliver 3.9% GDP growth. And Rwanda, that was a bad year for them. Next year he jumped back up to 8.578, then he got to 9.397. 2020, the big C drop. Look on that, 1.9. I wonder if Rwanda in the year of the big C did better than Jamaica. I wonder if Rwanda's worst is better than ours best. We get 0 point this and 0 point. Cause the same 2020 we down a minus 8 point, and Rwanda in for them 2020 them worst year, global, right? Big C, them still deliver better than Jamaica when things that are going good for Jamaica before Big C. Is it their favorite leaders can't do it or them not want to do it? What Rwanda do what Jamaica not do? Or let me guess, the system a fight Jamaica but it not fight Rwanda? Talk to me. Where your favorite leaders now? 20 years, not once over 5%, and Rwanda do it for a joke? Rwanda is a developing nation, just like how Jamaica is a developing nation. Right. Them have things that give them a competitive advantage, so does Jamaica. Look at Kenya. 5.3, 5.7, 5.8, 6.3. It's not impossible. Look at Burkina Faso. 5.9, 6.1, 6.8. Come on, 5%. Where's your favorite Jamaican leader? 5%. Can't do 5%. Burkina Faso, Kenya, Rwanda, they might do it. You see, in the West, we hear about, to what we hear in the West, it sound like say, nothing go on. Look, Hey, African nations are progressing. Numbers don't lie, they're progressing. Slowly and surely. Jamaica, a stagnant, 0.1 point, and that's before Big C. But why would you be surprised? Jamaica's economy is heavily built around tourism and remittance. That's it, tourism and remittance. So it's vulnerable to any kind of shock. So that's why the Big C drop. We're all wheeling a -8 because we're basically a 2-trick pony. Right. I just remittance alone right now. Jamaica cling on for remittance because people are foreign and send back money, but we're a 2-trick pony. After all these years, Jamaica is basically a 2-trick pony. And we do manufacture and them thing, right? But not enough. And let me tell you something. I don't take your favorite leaders seriously when it comes down to the economy because just like with crime, we need to hear them mention culture and mindset before we take them serious. When it comes down to the economy, if we not hear them address right, the bureaucracy right, that make it so difficult for small and medium sized enterprise in Jamaica prosper, me don't want you nothing. It's a waste of time. Great economies are not built from the top down, they're built from the bottom up. Small and medium enterprises are the backbone of the economy. So if you see your favorite leaders, them and put on the policy them for them people can thrive, stop wasting my time. You see, Jamaica is a place where in 2021, if you want to open a business bank account or anything, you have to go get this and get this and get this and go for 3 reference. Right now, one have to be from Santa Claus, and next one have to be from one I help them, and one have to be from the Tooth Fairy in 2021. The people who live in a developed country, when you go try open a bank account in America and UK, how much reference I'm telling you to them one? How much stamp and how much people have to go link to open a bank account? When you don't want the business, how much people have to link? Jamaica's system is outdated. It put off enough people by the time, even if you want to start something, by the time you've done the paperwork and go check the money and sign over here, so, and you say you have to go sign this, and you know nobody, so you walk around, you know the JP, you know nobody. People kiss them teeth and go on their business. But it's all by design, it's an old-fashioned colonial system. It have to be a doctor and a lawyer because apparently all doctors and lawyers are so virtuous them can make a decision for your character. In 2021, I suppose me don't know none. I'm to do without account. See, this is ridiculous. And if them say, oh well, the system is put in place to prevent criminals from, has it been working? The systems are in place now, the bureaucracy and the red tape and they go link the money and sign this and the money. Has it been working? Has it been stopping 116s? It surely don't stop them. Has it been stopping 90 acting? It surely don't. You can't even stop at 87. So the system now work anyway, altered or hinder law-abiding people who try better themselves. But the experts them will tell you otherwise. I never do no economic course in Canada, so I don't know. Right. Just a YouTuber try to make up some things to get some views. There are countries with nowhere near the amount of positive attributes that Jamaica have, will still outperform Jamaica. Jamaica should be the richest country in the Caribbean. Jamaica is an English-speaking nation with a large population by island standards right off the coast of America. We have everything. All the fundamental things are there for Jamaica outperform every other island. And instead, Jamaicans are run because Cayman, when Cayman people should have run to come to Jamaica. Hit the dislike button, your favorite leaders are a fraud. And you are too, because you back them. Even when you insist them underachieve time after time after time. Right, and run up and down on the internet and cuss people for them and tell man, guess what, the joke is on you. Tell me our country recover from losing 500,000 people in 94, not the 70s. You know. Jamaica's main turmoil was in the 70s. Rwanda, this happened to them in 94. People are listening to this right now who not even born yet. and then can recover and have one of the lowest crime rate in the world, and a country where grow 8-9%. They're forecasted to grow 6.3% in 2021. 2022, them forecasted to grow 7.9%. Where's your favorite leaders? The policy them now work. And let me just clarify this out there. I'm not, you know my stance already. I'm telling the government is not the people's Lord and Savior. The people should not be reliant on the government to feed them. Right? However, if the government set the policies that enable the people them to thrive, if the policy them wrong, right, then certain things can't really do because you have to go through this and go through that. Right? So that is the role of government, to set the foundation and the policies and the legislation that allows the people to thrive. Government job is not supposed to come save now the whole, save the people and put food in your mouth. That is not what government is for, and it's that mentality that helped Jamaica right there. Right? So must I clarify that. Nobody thinks Rwanda not see them growth here because the Rwandan government walk around and put food in everybody's mouth. That's not how you get 9% GDP growth. So, from an economic point of view, the Prime Minister can say, well, we've cut down this by 20% and the national reserves, and those things might very well be true. But guess what? As far as John Public is concerned, nothing change. You know why nothing change? I'll tell you why John Public will tell us that nothing change. Come on, hit the dislike button, I'm on a roll today. We don't want to know the true test of prosperity, John Public. It's not no 20 reduction in 20% and 5%. I'm telling you the real test for John Public. How much money people have left over after them pay them bills. Let me repeat that. The true test of whether people, not about the public, the masses, how them determine if things better for them, right, is how much money them have left over in them pocket after them pay them bills. And I'm talking about necessities. I'm not talking about the man who live above their means. I'm talking about people go to the shop and then buy the rice and the flour and the nappy, right, and the feeding and them thing there. How much money left over and the light bill, when everything they left over, we left back in their pocket. That is how people determine if them life better or worse. So that means cost of living needs to go down and income needs to go up. Ideally you want both, but very unlikely. So at least one have to go happen. People either have to go see them income a skyrocket, or the cost of living will go all the way down. People say, well, inflation was 3.2% and now it is 1.8%. The public, as far as the public is concerned, okay, when them walk down to the grocery shop and them look on the price of the goods and them say, alright, me used to pay $10 for this and now me I pay $40 and my income not change, me poor. That's how John Public look on things. Right? So when the Prime Minister say we're better off and him say, oh, our national reserves, John Public does not care. They don't feel that. Right? Poor people don't feel them things there. They're not lying. Those numbers might be correct, but the masses don't feel that. What them feel is that them use the same amount of light, and the same amount of light them are used in 2020 was the same amount them are used in 2019, but now them are pay one extra $2,000-3,000. That's what them feel. That's what hurt them. That's what made them say I'm getting poorer, because them income not rise fast enough to counter it. So the question, is Jamaica better off 10 years from an economic point of view? John Public will tell you, them not see it. You can't argue with the fact that, oh, we've paid down on debt, and that's good. Pay down on debt, I'm all for that. Right? Long may it continue. But John Public, right, and the national reserves have gone up and we haven't touched it and we're fiscally responsible. John Public determine how poor them is when them going to the supermarket. That's the poverty test. Alright, me used to could have buy 5 pound of rice, now me I buy 4. And look like next month I go buy 3. Me used to could have buy. When I people remember a time when certain things was reserved for dogs. Certain food could have throw the dog. One time my man have him little Jamaican terrier in him yard. Feed it pan cornmeal non-stop and chicken back. No, the man not give the dog no cornmeal and chicken back. Man I eat the chicken back and the cornmeal himself. Dog have to go eat bone. Dog can't get them things there again. So even the dog I feel it. If the dog could attack him, I tell him I feel it. I just threw the Jamaican terrier, can't vote. But I know nothing because we just see about 140 of them fly out going to Canada. Right, gonna live good life. I play in a snow, big up. The man to go be animal living, right? So even the terrier they might fly out. So when the Prime Minister make a statement like that, in a time like this, that show me say, in the heat of the moment, because then no debate will go on anymore and make a point, I think it display a certain lack of awareness. When them say read the room, you see, that statement they were alright in a 2019 before the Big C drop. And obviously I'm not for them for Big C drop. But you see, in a 2021, after people are now fed up with the Big C, fed up with the fact that people whose business rely upon nighttime, lifetime, people who are bar and party promoter and them people, now that's them gone a year straight without making no money and they're super annoyed. The last thing them want here is that Jamaica better off now than it was 10 years ago. The people them who realize that the price of goods gone up, even though again Big C and global supply and them thing they're fine. But read the room. Read the room. Nobody no want to hear that now. Nobody no want to hear that now when they feel it. Poor people don't want to hear that now. You see, how people look on it, how John Public look on it is this. What you're telling me is that 10 years ago me used to get 10 thumping on my face and now me only get 8. Okay, so what? That's how John Public look on it. So politicians have to know to read the room and read the public. Time like this, any statement like that where people just take it as an insult because they're frustrated. People are fed up and they're very emotional. So about none of the time we sit down and think about the national reserves have gone up by that. No, but no one hear that. All people know is them broke. Read the room. I think I'm going to talk about the opposition because I realized something about Jamaica's oppositions. Jamaican politicians are at their absolute best when they're in opposition. If you want to see a Jamaican politician get woke, put them in the opposition. Them have all the answers. Let me tell you how to solve crime, how to end poverty. When they get in power, but. Right. When the JLP was in opposition, they had all the answers. Right. Now them in power, it's but. The PNP is in opposition now, them have all the answers. If they win the next election, but. People are Jamaican if you look on the cold hard facts. I'm showing you the statistics already on crime. 20 years straight, average 1,300 murders. Multiple prime ministers, multiple party change back and forth. Economy, been 20 years, no, not even 5% growth. You say them can't do it, I don't know how to do it. your favorite political loyalists are going to tell us, oh, just bring in my leader will do. Yeah, we don't believe you. Just putting that out there. We don't believe you. You need more people. Listen, you want to say this video belong, you know. But kiss them teeth. Like, Serpy, a long video. They tell us they go long. Take an intermission like when they go watch show. I carry. But I just want people to understand, say, when I say Jamaica has been a cesspool of mediocrity and underachievement, you need to understand me I talk about. Jamaica is a massively underachieving nation. People need to lower the excuses, right, and face reality. Either we can't do it or we don't want to do it. Which one is it? Jamaica is running out of excuses. Whether crime, whether, come on. What you think countries like Burkina Faso have a lower murder rate than the UK and in place there because their police force is better than the JCF? There's a reason why I don't take your favorite leaders seriously, because until them address the culture and the mindset, you don't want to hear nothing. You can listen to them and them sad story about it 70 and them tell you the percentage of youths where now make them. How much youths in a Burkina Faso and Malawi and Haiti and them place they think employed and educated? Cut out the foolishness. You think Haiti have 787 murders in 2019 compared to Jamaica's over 1300 because Haiti police force is superior to JCF? Nonsense. You think the police force in Burkina Faso and Malawi and Sierra Leone is superior to JCF? Nonsense. They don't produce the 87s in mass numbers in the first place. But since we have those 87s, well, your favorite Minister of National Security and your favorite Police Commissioner, have to go deal with them. It is the public job to stop the conveyor belt, but it's the security forces' job to stop the 87s that already exist. We're all in this together. But you know what, let me stop this one right here, so. Because I can go on the whole day. And some of the things I'm talk about in this video, I'm going to end up make entire videos about them further on down the road anyway, so. You can leave this one right there, so. Patreon squad, big up on yourself. Right. Can't drop the video today on Patreon because, well, this video take a whole heap out of me. Right. I have to go sleep out most of that Sunday. PIA, you don't know, more life. Vulture squad, the only thing. Right. Bound to be some scraps lying around somewhere. Even vultures deserve to eat. Bless.